Welcome back to the Cosasverdes show, where we cover Bitcoin and altcoin price action so you can have a more profitable crypto journey. As you can see behind me, Bitcoin is still on the same channel it has been in most of the time since March of this year. We're going to go ahead and zoom in and really dive into what is going on specific to, is this rounding out and going to try to go up to the top of the channel as you see behind me, which after it gets there, it would be somewhere close to 25K. We have a lot of resistance on a few indicators that I have, that I use, and the river behind me is something that I've built. You can see, even though I'm going to make myself small here in a second, you can see that Bitcoin is having one hell of a time, even living any sort of distance above this river right over here. So what we're going to do in this episode here today is we're going to talk about, is this rounding out a bottom, getting ready to scream up at least to the point of control, which is this yellow / orange and black, or is the river going to push stuff below this bottom support here and things are going to crash down to 18K, which is the next target, by the way. So let's dive in and let's get these charts. Let's get it. I almost slipped in the F word there. Let's get these charts, but I didn't do it. So, all right, let's dive in. I'm not going to tell you what these are. No, this is not a Tradingview thing that you can just click. I built these and I provide those to my VIPs on Discord. Links to that are in the description section of all my videos. But I do post these a lot onto Twitter so you can see and get a better feel for what price action is doing. But I go way more in depth on my YouTube tier alerts, and which is provided for all of my Discord community. And I offer a lot more on the Discord. However, the YouTube tiers, which you can see a join button below you, you can click it and another video pop up and it describes what I provide there. It's essentially recordings of the Discord calls plus 15 to 20 alerts a week so you can understand what Bitcoin, NASDAQ, and Ethereum are doing. NASDAQ and S&P, I guess. So you can have a good direction on price. All right. And what we're going to do here is let's first identify, is this a bottom? All right. So a lot of people out there are going to be saying, look at the weekly RSI, bro, it cannot go any lower. That's what you're going to hear most likely. And, to, I guess, their defense and logic, it really hasn't ever gone this low before. It is at an all-time low, assuming I'm not counting this the beginning of time, because that I'm not counting that. But it has broken everything. All right. Now, if you understand that since the beginning of Bitcoin has lived in stock market prosperity the whole time. Since 2009, it has been straight up. Every single dip was V-shaped in nature. Every single one. Besides this one. The current market and the way with which things are falling is much more similar to the dot-com bubble. And I can show you that here right now. I typically don't discuss NASDAQ on YouTube much because I want to keep that mostly for my YouTube tiers. But... and my Discord and YouTube tiers analysis. But we're going to take a look here. Let's see, where are my origin lines? Should be up top, Timmy. Let's get it. So you can see that the 2008 crash started from here, so very, very close to this median line, which is the bright blue line. So it started in the middle and fell to the bottom. See that? Let me zoom way in here. It started in the middle and fell just past the bottom. What did the dot-com bubble do? It was above everything like craziness because it was a huge bubble, and it fell past the middle because it overcorrected on its journey to get to the middle. It's essentially a reversion back to the mean or the average. That blue line is the master origin line of all of NASDAQ futures, at least, price history. It is the middle zone. So if you can ignore my channels that I have here, and I post that stuff on Twitter. Again, my Twitter has it Cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward. You should be following me there because I post some good stuff on there. But you can see that it's falling from the top. It's not falling from the middle like 2008. So why am I saying this, and what's the point? The point is that the weekly RSI is lower for a reason. Because this isn't going to be some V-shaped correction in the stock market. So all of those weekly lows were during moments of prosperity. If you haven't accepted the fact that Bitcoin trades with S&P 500 and NASDAQ, then you're living under a rock and you really need to swallow that pill. All right? It trades almost directly with it unless a Bitcoin, a crypto cartel gets ready to dump Bitcoin as right after they pump Ethereum and Cardano to trick everybody, myself included. I got caught in that trap. It was actually a genius trap, and they used a lot of money to do it, but they made a lot of money selling Bitcoin on spot as they stacked on their shorts, right? So that's one of the only times that Bitcoin seriously has broken correlation with particularly NASDAQ. All right. Now, the weekly RSI is going to be lower for that main reason. NASDAQ went way above the average at the top of its chart, has to fall down to the middle, and it's not there yet. It's more than halfway, but it hasn't gotten there. Plus, when it gets there, it will go below that bright blue line. It's going to go below it, whether you want to believe it or not, similar to how I got laughed at when I almost begged people, please, if you're going to buy Solana, wait till it's under $30. And you can go back to that video. I might put it in the link if I can find it. But, like, geez. All right, so this is a channel, but if you can decipher all this, that blue line right here where I'm pointing and tracing, not the blue horizontal, so the support, but it actually starts, it rides through it. If I go back here a little bit, see, it's the bright blue line. This is the median line. So it's going to fall through that. Will it get a good bounce there? Yeah, probably. But in the end, it's going to go to the bottom of this channel. One way or another, it's going to work its way down here. It's going below that blue line. It could actually only go to this or the point of control, but it's going below the blue line. But it's probably going to hit this line here that I'm, you can't see it. This line here that I'm pointing at. Better make myself small before you. And if I zoom out, it's hitting, so this is the median line. This is the blue line. So in prices up here, the NASDAQ is up here. So it's got a ways to go. What percentage is that? Damn, 25%. Weekly RSI can go lower, and it probably will. Best case, it starts making higher lows as price makes higher lows. No. I said that wrong. The RSI could start making higher lows as price makes a couple lower lows in which you have bullish divergence. So it is possible that the weekly RSI on Bitcoin, if I can go back to it here, is at a bottom or near a bottom. But so listen to what I'm about to say. That doesn't mean price is at a bottom. Price can still make lower lows as the weekly RSI makes slightly higher lows and starts turning around. That's what bullish divergence is. Divergence means different. Lower lows versus higher lows. Higher lows in RSI, lower lows in price is bullish divergence, bullish difference in what is happening. Does that make sense? So perhaps even if the weekly RSI doesn't go any lower, price probably will. Does that make sense? But if you understand NASDAQ and Bitcoin goes along with it, weekly RSI is probably going to go lower. Can't go any lower, bro. Yes, it can, and it's going to. It's going to with a high probability. Very high probability. All right? So and I hopefully I don't have many followers who are gonna be blindly long in 20K or right now and thinking they're gonna be a genius, because if you're doing that with all of your account or whatever, you're gonna get destroyed. You're gonna get destroyed. It probably is gonna happen before July 4th. We're probably gonna have a big meltdown. I would say early July. That would be my guess. I don't think we're going to get another 30 days of sideways in Bitcoin like we did last time. So we are kind of getting that signature, though, where that could happen. So remember my video that I made on May 14th or 15th saying Bitcoin price will go sideways at best for the next 10 to 30 days, and it went sideways for 30 days total, or 32 days total, and then it dropped. Well, that whole video describes why I was able to correctly make that assumption that it was the most probable scenario, because the daily RSI fell deep into the red zone and did not do some V-shaped correction type of deal. All right, so it started getting above the EMA, but it didn't go bam like one of these. This is aggressive, right? So after it started bouncing around, I let people know this is going to take roughly 30 days to resolve itself. Roughly 30 days. So this is going to do the same thing, but what is more likely to happen, in my opinion, is that it gets above this white line, which could be 25K Bitcoin. That could do it. So let me draw out what could happen. So really be looking at this daily RSI. Yeah, price could scream up several $1,000s on Bitcoin. I mean, it almost looks like it wants to at this point. It looks like it wants to round out, but that, and it's gonna get people excited if that was the bottom, and it ain't gonna happen. All right, so that's the so I'm extending the EMA of the RSI. It's the 12 EMA of this RSI is the white, and then the green line will probably do something like this, boom, 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 bam. And when does that start falling? I didn't do that on purpose, but that's July 3rd. So once the daily RSI, keep this, listen, look at the daily RSI on this tool. And if you don't know how to use this RSI, go to my YouTube playlist that talks about, or that's labeled Learn Trading Basics or something to that effect, and go to how to set up a chart. And it has tags, RSI. Just skip straight to the RSI, and I'll show you. I show you in that video which one, right? Which indicator to use, how to pull it up on TradingView, and I teach you how to use templates. I have one saved template, I do believe, on the free version, but it's really helpful. A free version of TradingView, that is. All right, so this is probably something roughly what's going to happen, right? And again, similar to $30 Solana. Just, I know it might be unbelievable, but and it looks, you might be convinced this is the bottom, but it's very highly, highly, highly unlikely. Now, if the daily were to do this, what would the weekly do? Okay, so how many days would this be? That's 15 days. So that's not quite closing 2 full ticks on weekly RSI. So that would be, this week closes down because it's getting ready to be locked in, actually just locked in place. And next week, like that, week after, let's draw out this EMA. Come on, Tim. And then the RSI itself can go like this. Boom, 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 boom. And that would be a green week, or even 8 days of mostly upward price action. If you're looking at the 1 hour and 4 hour chart, you could easily have a 1 hour and 4 hour upward trend for about, I don't know, 8 days in that case. And that would probably get you about 25K Bitcoin. Maybe, yeah, about 25K. It's the top of the range, and I'll show you that here in a second. But so that's probably what would happen. All right. And things start slowing. Actually, you could get 2 ticks. You can go something like that, actually. And the next tick is coming down, and boom, that's July 4th. Something to that effect right there. That could happen. That would be a bullish next week potentially. And the weekly RSI actually does have the habit, when it gets pretty far below the EMA, it likes to slow down because it, again, going back to the average. If you get too far away from the average, you typically snap back to it, right? Sometimes it's not as soon as what you would expect, but it always goes back to the average, okay? They're at least the moving average in this case. So it gets, so see how the green gets really far away from the white? What does it do? It snaps right back to it, and then goes past it, and then it gets too far above it. What does it do? Goes back towards it. Then it gets too far above it. What does it do? Goes back to it. Like, it always goes. So like, one simple thing here is just understanding that things go back to an average, or at least a moving average, every time, no matter what you think. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. All right, it is a question of when. So this RSI right here, it can go lower, and it very likely will. And best case, it doesn't, and it makes a few higher lows, as price then makes a lower low at 18K, or maybe 19.2, but I would say 18 something. Low 18s in that case. Am I making sense here? All right, now, this does, honestly, price does look like it wants to go up at this point. With pullbacks, obviously, it's not going to go straight up. But so the river here, let's put on my river, or Cosa ribbons. On Twitter, I call it the river because it sounds cool, but whatever. So let's take a look here. Even though you don't have these tools necessarily, but price has finally gotten above the river, got rejected by this gray line, which is why I have that gray line there. It's very magical. Come back in the river, and as the stochastics go all the way down, they're not all the way down yet, so it could still tank through. Price could tank through there and then go blam, which is not very good. That means the next one will probably be a lower high.
If price can't stay in there as the stochastics of that time frame, I'm on the 3-minute chart, as the stochastics go down, if it even gets below a little bit, that means it's statistically more likely not to break through that gray line on the push. But as of now, it actually could. So it looks like it wants to come up here and test 20,900, which if you zoom out, the reason why I say that, it's because it's the next line on this range that has been in effect for about 100 days now. Right? 3-month long trading channel. These channels work like magic. Right? And honestly, it looks like, so I mean, just look at the shape. It looks like it actually wants to come up to the point of control to me. I mean, I'm thinking, gosh, it looks like it wants to get to 22.5. It kind of looks like it wants to. I'm not going to say I think that's the most probable path, but let's start talking about probable paths. So I would say, could go up, could go down, could go sideways. Honestly, that's going to be my answer. I don't think I have a super awesome prediction for you today. Today was wishy-washy, and in trading, I successfully traded the charts today, but there was no massive move to make a lot of money off of. But I still was up $400 with a small account of. I think I've started the day at 15.8 or 16 even or something like that, maybe 15.8. Because I didn't take all those profits from yesterday's live chat. I think I had it up to 17.8 or whatever. I should have taken more profits, but I took 60% of profits, so it's not bad. Anyway, so the 3 most likely price paths. I mean, it's fallen back under this river. So I would say one probable price path is it does indeed. I would say I wouldn't say necessarily capitulation, but that might be the 4th one. I would say it comes down here, tags this local low, maybe even goes below it, down just past 20K, comes up, makes everybody think, oh, that's the bottom, and it really races up. Perhaps, maybe even maybe even as high as 22K. Like it could get really aggressive because a lot of people might think that's the bottom. Then it might go sideways for a little while, make one more pump, and then start coming down. Something to that effect. All right, so over time, something bad. All right, I think that could happen. And how long would that take? It's not telling me. Let's go to the chart. Actually, I can just look at the days. June, so that's 3 days. So over the weekend, can I see that happen? Ooh, this is the weekend. I don't know if that'll happen over the weekend without NASDAQ being open. Actually, that's not the most probable. I apologize. Throughout the week, I would have put that. Gosh, over the weekend, it might actually be more likely that it drops or goes sideways. So over the weekend, the highest I would see it going is the bottom of this channel. But I would guess for an upward top 3 most probable, it can see 21,590 or 21,006. 21.6 is what I would say there. That line. So I could see it maybe even doing a fake out down there, which is what I'm hoping for, and then and then comes up, boom, and then just goes sideways over the weekend until the traditional finance opens up, and then what happens after that, I don't know. I'll just put it sideways. Maybe a question mark there because I'm not for sure what would happen after Monday. I would need to see how price, the small candles, interact with these lines and the moving averages at that point. But getting us over the weekend, this is probably the most bullish thing I see outside of that. I could see that as well, and that would be up at 20, just a bunch of 2s, 5 2s in a row, 2-2, 2-2-2. But I think more realistically, 21.6 would be where it's at there for over the weekend price action. I really don't think it's going to go much higher. 22 horizontal could get it. Yeah, 21.6. All right, so for a more moderate price path or a bearish price path, honestly, I would say, gosh, you know what? Since it is over the weekend, I think that, I think seeing 18K over the weekend could actually happen. That might be among my top 3. I'll make this a different color. But it should be fairly obvious if and when that starts happening because you're gonna, have a lot of defense around 20K, maybe have something like that to get everybody out of their shorts. That's shortened and then it goes down, All right, so I have a little 4-year-old Santa next to me. Hopefully she's not. All right, now she's being quiet. All right, now or it could freaking just go sideways, folks. It really could. Could go up, could go down, it could go sideways. Gosh, the weekend price action is going to be floaty. So I would say in general, be prepared for something to that effect. However, what the value of this is that upper limits for this weekend, I'm thinking 21.6. Super maximum for the weekend that I could see as reasonable. Of course, something higher could happen, but what flirts with being beyond reason is 22,222. All right. But more realistically bullish, the most bullish I could see is 21.6. Or shit just keeps floating sideways, as you see here. Just stays between the bottom line and this line. Maybe wicks above this channel line right here a few times. Maybe goes up to something to the effect of a 20,600 middle one, and simply just floats between those two lines, which could easily happen. I mean, if you look at Ethereum has stayed in a similar channel like that for several days now. Or you could start getting, I wouldn't say capitulation, but just the next leg down. 18. I don't think 18K would be much of a capitulation. I mean, from current price, that's only like 11% over 3 whole days. That's not capitulation, but it could easily float down to 18K. Most likely, gosh, I would say these top two are more likely than this, but I'm definitely prepared for that. I'm hoping something like the green happens where it comes down first, bounces, and then bounces hard up to there. Personally, that's what I'm going to try to be prepared to make money off of. I'm not going to try to short anything under 20K because it's going to have a lot of defense, and that should get you prepared for the weekend. Now I have a pop freaking quiz for you. Pop quiz. I'm going to make myself small. All right, here we go. So check this out. If you can see where my cursor is, so I'm on. This is the 1 minute chart. Okay, I market bought on an entry. After I saw this candle right here close, I longed at no. After this candle close, I longed at the very beginning of this candle with a market buy. Right? And now look at number 2. I was a responsible citizen on this doji candle, and I put my stops, seeing that it was slowing down. I put my stops at break even, so I was only risking the fees, which in the end was $8 because I paid them. And number 3. Even though you don't know who Vic is, he's one of my VIP veterans on Discord. Anyway, this little scam wick, which happened on all exchanges, probably exchange bots, but because the traditional finance stuff doesn't. It does do that, but it doesn't do it like this. They have look backs essentially, but not to this degree. Anyway, so this was exchange bots getting everybody stops, or people playing the short term time frames at least, and then I got stopped out and I paid $8, so I lost $8 on probably $3,300 entry. Because I only entered with about 20% of futures account, which I'm trying to grow from 5K to 100K. And if you want to follow along, join the Discord or the YouTube tier. I put more information, especially the Discord for VIPs. I journal it every day. So, what did I do wrong? And the question is, why should I not have put in my stop at my entry quite yet? That's the question. And it goes in it. So look at this chart a little bit more. The answer is simpler than what you might think. So look at high and low structure there. What did it have and what did it not have at that point? In terms of higher and low structure, and higher low, higher high structure, it had neither at that point. So look where I put my stops in. Go left. Did it have a higher high, local high? No. This was running off of a lower low, and I just saw a lot of buyback and kind of volume, so that's why I assumed, hey, it's going to make a lower low than scream up, which is exactly what happened. I kind of know those signatures fairly well, and I wait till several green candle closures on whatever time frame I'm trading for that, usually the 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute. And so what I did wrong was it needed to form a higher low. And so what is this wick? Even though it looks scam wick, all it did was form a higher low before making what? A higher high. So on this candle here, it made a high higher than that, but it was able to form a higher low on a wick basis before it made a higher high. So I should have waited to put my stop in at break even, or just kept my stop, lower here, at least 0.2%. And I think if I drew down, go to the 1 minute chart, I think I labeled where I did this. I typically have stops within 0.5%. I have it labeled right here. So the first green candle on the left is where I entered.
I entered at the beginning of it. So after that closed, then I entered exactly at that candle. It's a pretty good entry. Actually, really good entry for just trying to be in a trade for about 30 minutes, maybe 25. I was trying to only get 0.7% of play, up to, what was it, 20,550, something like that. And it did hit my profit and more. But so take a look. So I entered right there, but when I put my stop in at that candle, this is not a higher high than that, and this is a lower low. So you had a lower low and a lower high at that point, and then I put my stops in. That's what I did wrong. So just very simple, and that's something I know, but for me, it felt like there was so much momentum. But higher highs and higher lows are dominant. Like the trend on the 1 minute is a big deal, right? If you're trading the 1 minute chart. I didn't wait for it, and I got stopped out, and I probably lost opportunity cost. I only lost $8, but my opportunity cost was probably about $380 on that trade. That was my profit taking margin. So hopefully that little trick, that pop quiz, and that that lesson there could be valuable for you no matter what time frame you're playing, whether it's the 1 hour, 4 hour, daily. It all works the same. It really is. It's like universe. It's like a copy of a universe inside of a universe inside of a universe. And like Horton Hears a Who. It's literally the same thing. It's the same damn rules. Weekly chart has the same rules as the 1 hour chart. It literally all works the same. And go ahead and click this video over here if you want to see why Bitcoin dominance rising truly affects your altcoins and how they're bleeding so badly. And go ahead and click this video over here if you want to see a video that was perhaps most liked by my YouTube audience. You got Timified Worldwide. Peace.